But speaking of rot slots, this has to be one of the funniest things that I have heard of in a long time because I don't know about you, but I tend not to go to Hooters for my political leanings. Corn Stars launch campaign against Project 2025 targeting swing states. Almost like Trump hasn't completely disavowed Project 2025 because it comes from the Heritage Foundation and not the Trump campaign.
What else did they come up with?
Oh, I mean, the leftoids, they have no platform. So they're either stealing Trump's homework like Kamala did with the no taxes on tips and all this other bullshit. And then, now, it's Project 2025. And like they're still parroting it. If they're parroting it, it's debunked.
Yeah.
Like it's already been debunked 6 ways from Sunday. This has been debunked more than unicorns.
Now, I've actually perused Project 25, whatever you want to call it. And there's some stuff in there that I would like to see.
It's not all that bad. It's not all that bad.
Some of it's egregious.
Yes, it is.
But some of it kind of puts things back in a balance and where it needs to be.
Yes.
Correct.
And I'm just like...
And you don't need a lot of these federal institutions. You don't need them. You don't need the Department of Education. You don't need the Department of Health and Human Services and all that. You got fucking 50 of them. Pardon my language. I'm sorry, but you got 50 of them throughout the country. Let every state have them. Most of them should be down in the county anyway.
Damn right.
So
most of the laws that affect us on the daily are not even federal.
It's just counties. Pay attention to your local stuff.
Yeah.
Sorry for the rant.
Listen, man, with all of that craziness going on, we need to actually, in the future, probably the near future, go, see if we can get us to actually revamp a lot of these federal laws that have been on the books forever.
How about we take care of the fact that 90% of the taxes we pay have been instituted in the last 70 years? I would say that'd be another good place to start.
Yeah.
All illegally.
Yes.
Correct.
I don't even believe the IRS was the act itself was never fully ratified.
No, it wasn't. There is literally no law on the books whatsoever that says you have to pay income tax. It's literally a blackmail operation. You either pay or we'll send a SWAT team to your house.
Yeah.
You have when you don't pay taxes, you have broken no law, but they will still treat you as if you have. That is the definition of mob behavior.
Correct.
That's mafia behavior.
Like extortion, racket.
Yes, extortion, racketeering, suck my dick.
There's a lot of shit that just has to change. I mean, this prison industrial complex horse shit needs to be revamped.
Yep.
We shouldn't have private companies running prisons. All right, that's a no.
We shouldn't have Kamala Harris running prisons either.
Yeah,
and you shouldn't have them allowed to be investing in their growth.
Well, there's a whole.
You shouldn't even be wanting growth.
Well, listen, there's a whole bunch of people in prison who are there for victimless crimes.
Yes,
that shouldn't fucking be there. And there's people. Okay, yeah, they fucked up a couple times, and then 15 years later or so, they get in some other, non-victim kind, and they make it a felony and throw him in prison for the rest of his life.
I'm more afraid not of the guy who might have he might do something once or twice stupid, goes to jail forever, but the people out here do white collar victimless crime that put people in bankruptcy and leave them homeless and shit like that. Nothing fucking happens to these people.
Like I would say, we should revamp the whole thing. Yes, you did victimless white collar crime and a bunch of people were made homeless or whatever, then we just break your fucking legs.
There should be some consequence.
Yes.
I'm just saying there should be a consequence or two.
Yes.
You can't go 20 years fucking, committing fraud and call it a tax break. I'm just saying.
Most people call it child support.
But the thing is, if you're doing fraud,
well played, sir.
If you're doing fraud and you're causing people to go bankrupt, that's not a victimless crime.
No.
Fair enough.
I'm talking like the guy who had one too many marijuana plants before it was legal here in Michigan.
Oh, that's interesting. The people who've gone away, even in the 2000s, who are doing 10, 20-year sentences, they're coming out to pot shops.
Yeah. So sometimes
I'd be pissed off too.
Yeah. Sometimes some of these people are in for life. And
they
haven't had their sentences, commuted because it's basically legal in a lot of states now. And now they're talking about at least, if not outright legalizing it, making pot category 3 or schedule 3, whatever they call it, so that it's no longer top tier.
One of my former soldiers, his father was a big marijuana runner between Mexico and the United States.
Yeah.
And they came in, leaned on him, and he wound up going to jail for like 2.5 years. And the one, you want to know who helped that happen? Colonel Dina.
Of course.
Like, that was such a fucking clusterfuck. That's a whole. I think Steve and I are going to cover that at some point in the future.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting to hear. Kind of sounds a little fucked up.
Well, we're going to do a show where, the military has been throwing people out for years for bullshit, and now they can't recruit anybody because the word is out.
Yep. But speaking of blackmail operations, let's get back to the porn stars. Get back in here. Concerned with provisions of Project 2025 that could criminalize corn, a group of corn stars is jumping into the 2024 election, launching "Hands Off My Corn" and purchasing $100,000 in ads in swing states to spread their message. I don't think you need to purchase ads to spread any more than you already do.
Well, $100,000 in ads in election season.
It's nothing.
It's Jack
nothing.
And shit Jack town
Yeah.
after he came all over your face.
We must fight back against this ultra-conservative agenda that's rooted in religious conservatism.
We need more of that, to be honest with you.
You don't have to sell me on it. I mean, come on.
Fear-mongering and the suppression of women's rights.
No, you're talking about the modern Democratic Party.
All right, now hang on.
Actually,
they're saying suppression of women's rights, meaning we don't want you to murder children
Yes.
in utero.
if you take religious conservatism and change it to fanaticism, and then you have the fear-mongering and the suppression of women's rights, you have the modern left.
Correct.
Pretty much.
Without beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Because I remember like this whole abortion thing when I was younger, and it was, it wasn't as big of a deal it is now. But now we've gotten to the point where we've watched the mission creep to the point where we had several states arguing about, if the child is born.
The Ralph Northams of
we'll let it be comfortable and we'll have a conversation.
What a piece of shit.
All right,
what does that even mean?
That means to kill it after the fact.
I know, but fucking
Right.
say it. If your practice is okay, just say it.
This is going to sound really crazy here, but I actually a few years ago saw a video of these late term abortions.
It's nothing you ever want to see.
It was nothing but murder.
Yep.
Right. Because the baby, you could have just delivered it and it would live outside the mother, but they murdered it in there, cut it up, and took it out by pieces. And then after the fact, I've heard other reports, they sell said pieces for a profit.
Yes. And it was a guy in California who exposed that fact.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because that's illegal as hell. He's the one who's getting sent to fucking, brought up on charges. And who was responsible for doing that? Come swallow a heels up, pull my Harris.
Because no good deed is going to go unpunished when you're living around evil.
Ugh.
Because that's fucking evil.
Yeah.
If you're going to engage in trafficking of fucking baby body parts, how has that even become an argument of women's rights?
Yeah, and
This
not
is
to
evil.
mention, after what happened in 2020 and 2021, if you were in favor of poke mandates and said that vaccine passports, no less, if you're in favor of all that, and now you claim to be worried about bodily autonomy,
right?
You sold yourself up the river,
and you want vaccine passports but not voter ID. Do us all a favor. Pull your lip over your head and swallow.
Sterilize yourself.
Which is what your mom should have done, so she could spare the rest of us this fucking pain, okay, of having to listen to you idiots. I'm just saying. Back to the article.
Sorry.
We appreciate it, though.
20 corn stars came together to found Hands Off My Corn and are placing ads on sites that show explicit content in Georgia, Arizona, Nevada, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, North Carolina, and Michigan, warning users about Project 2025's drive to criminalize corn. Well, you know that in a lot of these states, there are a lot of laws that are still on the books. Michigan is one of them. It's actually illegal to produce corn here. Not what you eat. Well, maybe it is, but you know what I'm saying.
Well, yeah. I mean, again, case in point, there are laws on the books that have been there for quite some time that are not being enforced.
Yep.
That need to be taken off the books.
Shit, man. Depending on how far left of a shithole you live in, laws that used to be enforced are now no longer being enforced, like murder, robbery. Yeah. Moida. Murray Dar. It's Abby Normal. Okay.
Cabaret.
Epar. Rapé. Rapé sounds like something you would scoop onto ice cream.
Assault.
Assault.
That's a good one.
And his brother Battery.
Yes.
Nice.
So I'm going on Battery. What you doing? Missed you. Bastard. I mean, my gosh. And I love how they wait until like way down near the bottom to finally admit what we all already know. Trump has distanced himself from Project 2025, saying he had nothing to do with it. And I love it. However, many of the authors of Project 2025's blueprint for a conservative administration in 2025 are former Trump appointees or allies.
Like he has any control over people that used to work for him. And allies. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Is that somebody who has a Trump sign in their front yard? I mean, get the hell out of here.
Kiss my grits, nooch. Come on. This is how pathetic it is.
Yeah.
This is how you know they are desperate.
Well, first of all,
these are not people acting from a position of confidence and strength. These are cowards who are piss scared that he's going to get back in there and break the toys because he's not going to have anything left to lose.
Well, I watched the the interview that Kamala did.
Come swallow.
And she again answers nothing.
Of course not.
Literally, she just
you talk about the
around.
60 Minutes one on TV.
Yeah, like what the hell?
Shit, man. There was one of her answers on Israel was apparently so bad that they had to repurpose another answer and they edited it. Unfortunately, they were stupid and didn't change the transcript, so people were able to pick up on that pretty fucking quick.
Well, when was the last time a woman's ever answered a man directly, honestly?
Yeah, that's a very good question.
I've had a couple in the Army that would just look you in the face and tell you how it is, which I appreciated.
Wow,
but most of the time they do the grief grift where they start to cry.
Oh, I hate that shit.
And then they gaslight,
talk
around the subject, and then they do the blame game.
Yeah. If the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, all women's answers are homosexual.
Because when I was in New York, I had an E4, going to be an E5 shortly, who drove an ambulance. She was a lesbian. But
did she sink it and tank 20%
no,
of the
there was a couple times I had to yell at her, and she looked at me and said, "I don't have an excuse, Art." I'm like, okay.
Oh, done.
Listen,
that's awesome.
If you look me in the face when you fuck up and you say, "I have no excuse,"
that's better.
I really can't get mad.
No.
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay, I was expecting some bullshit. Now I have to change my script. Okay. What did we learn here?
Yeah,
I go right to instead of getting mad and I just go right to what have we learned here? Have we learned a lesson from this? All right, high five.
Yeah, literally, because the person's allowing themselves to be teachable at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have no excuse. Okay.
Let me teach you.
I've known a lot of ladies
shall teach you.
who needed some coaching in areas.
Yeah.
Catch my drift.
Yeah, I gotcha. But
just saying.
As a former senior NCO who's used to dealing with the soft shoe, the lying, and the blame game, that's like when I have to yell at you, I'm expecting that because I get that 80% of the time, and then you turn around, make eye contact, and go, "I have no excuse." And then I'm like, "Oh, it's refreshing."
Okay, yeah, okay, it is. It's like somebody just poured cold water down my throat after 40 days in the desert. This is fantastic.
Because you show up, I'm at a 10 in anger, no excuse. I go down to a 6.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right.
And then it slowly deflates from there.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, you fucked up. We'll fix this.
It's accountability. You're expecting you're expecting a huge battle. Now you know you don't have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope.
And that's one of the reasons why, like, in my relationships with the thoughts that I have dated in the past, like, a lot of them would come at me all piss and vinegar, and I'd just be like, all right. It was never any fun for them. Like, because I don't like to fight.
Yeah.
And I especially don't like to fight with women because when women want to fight, it's usually for an irrational reason. And when you're irrational, you're stupid. And what do they say about arguing with stupid people? They will drag you down to their level and beat you with experience. So I just don't engage.
Well, it's kind of like, going to a bar and then having a pudding wrestling contest with the female pudding contest wrestler champion. It's not going to work out.
I mean, it might work out.
No.
You can get a good workout.
No.
Might get to smell the
That
dash.
it doesn't seem like it would work out.
No.
It seems like it'd be bad.
Because they'll beat you with experience, and then you walk out with pudding on your face.
But at least, I mean, might get some ass and boobs in your face, covered in pudding. I mean, that's a good day for everybody.
I don't know if my face is an ass and a pudding comes out. I'm gonna have a lot of questions.
Not that kind of pudding.
Like, I'm just
That's
saying.
very
Like,
good, as long as it ain't tapioca.
it's like I'm not this into things. I don't know.
She puts her gash in your face. Next thing you know, you got like chunky white stuff. You got no.
I'm just
disgusting.
curious, like this whole Project 25 thing. Do you think this was orchestrated, maybe done on purpose by the left, kind of like they did the whole Russian?
Well, yeah. I mean, what's
Crazy.
that? What's that other? It's a left-wing think tank that they've tried to pass off as a right-wing propaganda machine. I think it's called
Usually.
the Lincoln Foundation. or
I don't
something
think
like
any
that.
of it would happen, even the things that we like, because there's so much money involved in that.
But the thing is, they've gotten away with this when you have the school shooters or the mass
Yeah.
shooters, and they always they're white. But when you
Tim Walz's friends.
look
Yeah.
at the actual poster of all the, I think that was from like 21.
Yeah, one of these
2020.
things is not like the other when you look at that.
Yeah, I'm like they're picking and choosing
Of course.
who to put on the right and try to scare everyone.
Well, Pop, you and I both know that when it comes to the left, the only way that they can win their arguments is to straw man or to lurk deliberately and only for the outliers.
Mhm.
Oh, I'm not in any hurry to have kids. Rihanna had a baby at 41. She's a millionaire, and
She
bitch,
can
you're
afford
not
to do
Rihanna.
that. Yeah, she can afford to do that shit.
Okay, yeah, Cameron Diaz just popped out another kid at like 52. That kid's probably going to be down with every syndrome.
Well, after the
wow.
age of, I believe,
35, I think it is.
44, 43.
After 27, their fertility
Yeah.
starts to dive off a cliff. By
But-
35, it's essentially gone.
Yeah, and it's like I heard like 35 or something is like the number where like you really start looking at like
But-
possible defects.
Well, after 45, it's a 1% chance they'll carry it to term.
Yeah.
And that's
Yup.
with the injection of multiple
Yeah. You gotta-
embryos.
You got to, that plus the hormones and all the craziness that they have to take on the regular basis. So they're, worn out tobacco purse of a uterus can actually hold on to the baby long enough for it to, fall out of the meat suit into the real world and have to deal with this craziness.
Yeah.
But that's the way it goes.
They call them geriatric pregnancies for a reason.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that's not me. That is an official medical term. You don't like it? Too bad, so sad.
Take it up with them.
Yes. Suck a dick.
Watch Grunt Speak live every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And if you want to join Pop for Supporter Sundays, go to redonkulous.com/donate and make a monthly pledge. A link is in the meat caser box.